Hey, it's Dr. Eric. I wanted to do this short video for you going into the new year because I've seen something. I've done some speaking engagements recently, and I've noticed a disturbing trend with even some of our patients and a lot of the people in the public. And I want to give you the tools that you need. So I'm going to give you two things that you can do right now to take steps to transform your health in this new year. The thing that's been concerning to me is I've asked a couple of audiences who here has made a New Year's resolution for their health. No one raised their hand. And then I said, well, who wants to achieve something with their health this year? No one raised their hand. So even though I don't love New Year's resolutions because most people don't stick to those anyway, I do believe in consciously planning your future and planning what you want and choosing your life rather than the life being chose for you. So I don't know if it's like the years of COVID lockdown and all the stuff that happened there and all the separation and everything that's going on and how people gained weight. I don't know what it is, but it seems like a lot of people are just giving up on their health. And it shouldn't be that way because the new year is a great time to take control of your health. So, something I wanted to talk about today is just my experience. I was just at the gym. And so there's two things. The first is this: it's important that you keep your word to yourself. So here's what I want you to do if you haven't made any resolutions or haven't really thought about what you want to achieve, or even if you have thought about it, but haven't put it into practice yet. What I want you to do is sit down and think about, what do you want your life to look like? What do you want your health to look like? Do you want to sleep better? Do you want to have more energy? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to stick to a healthier eating plan? Do you want to start exercising? Why do you want to do that? Because it's going to help you feel better. You're going to feel better about yourself, right? Right. So what I want you to start thinking about here is how, when you decide those things, so let's say you want to lose weight, or you want to start, okay, you want to lose weight and you're going to stop eating sugar or something like that. Something happens internally. So with me, I started doing the advanced nutrition plan, which I'll be teaching on January 20th, the updated advanced nutrition plan. I started that January 2nd. And it's been great because I've been building a lot of self-esteem because I'm keeping my word to myself. So the first lesson today is, when you decide this, keeping your word to yourself is massive, because we're taught, keep your word to everybody else, make sure everybody else is taken care of. But it's important that the most important person that you not lie to is you. So if you say, I'm going to do this for a month, or I'm going to start working out 3 times a week, or I'm going to stop eating sugar, it's important that you keep your word to yourself. And that builds massive self-esteem and self-resiliency when you keep your word to yourself. So I got up this morning. I would have rather eaten, biscuits and gravy or something, but I didn't. I ate my eggs and my blueberries. And then I got home and I could have easily stopped and picked something up. But instead, nope, I'm going to go home. I'm going to eat the lunch that I said I was going to eat, which didn't involve any grains or sugar for me. I feel great. I've lost a couple of pounds, but most importantly, my joints don't hurt. And I'm building this positive momentum because every time you keep your word to yourself, now you might fall off the wagon sometime, but every time you keep your word to yourself, high five yourself and say, you know what? That's the person that I want to become. Right. So it's important not only to keep your word to other people, but I say vitally more important to keep your word to yourself. Now, that leads me to the second thing I wanted to talk about, which is when you do things that are maybe a little bit difficult, when you do things that are outside of your comfort zone, when you do things that are stretching you or challenging you, or you might not like to do. For me, like when I do my cold shower in the morning, I don't love standing under that water for a minute, but I know what that does for me. I know what it does to my dopamine levels the rest of the day. I know what it does to my immune system. And every time I do that, or every time you do that, you do something, you choose the hard thing rather than the easy thing. You build a portion of your brain called your anterior mid cingulate gyrus. And what that does is it's the center for willpower. And the more you use it, the better and stronger it gets, which means you have more willpower. So a lot of people think I was born without willpower. They'll say that I don't have any willpower, Dr. Eric. Yes, you do. You actually have two spots of your brain that are specifically focused on willpower. And the more you use them, the better they get. And the less you use them, the weaker they get. So Andrew Huberman talks about this a lot. So he says, when you go to the gym, don't always choose the thing that you like. So I went to the gym today and I'm like, I like the elliptical. I can watch the TV. It doesn't hurt so much. I hate the stair climber, but you know what? Today I'm like, you know what? I'm going to choose that stair climber because I want that part of my brain, the anterior mid cingulate cortex or cingulate gyrus, to get bigger. Because when it gets bigger, this is what they've shown, it gets bigger in people that live longer because they're actually associating it with the will to live. your brain is sharper. You have less dementia, the bigger that thing is. And the way you get to that is you say, you know what? One of my other mentors used to say, embrace the suck. So yeah, it's not going to be fun on that stair climber. It might not be as fun eating what I had today, a kale salad, as it would be eating a hamburger. But I'm building a part of my brain and I'm keeping my word to myself. So if that's something that you want to do, I'm going to be talking about that at our workshop on the 20th here coming up. By the way, there's only about maybe 15 spots left. So if you want to register, make sure you click on the link and do that. It's almost completely full after just 4 days of promoting it. But I'm not just going to talk about how to eat right and how to exercise. I'm going to talk about how to take control of your brain, because when you do that, great things happen. So again, keep your word to yourself. Even if it's something small, like you want to walk your dog every day, or you want to do 10,000 steps, or just something small. Keep your word to yourself. When you do that, you start depositing little deposits into your bank account of self-esteem and self-efficacy, and you become the person that you want to become. And you build a part of your brain that's not only responsible for willpower, but also responsible for the will to live. So if you want to live a long, healthy life later in life, you want a dense part of that brain. And the way you do that is choose the thing that you didn't necessarily love to do. We have more anxiety and depression than ever before. People feel like they're missing something. People feel like something is missing in their lives, largely because so many of us don't have enough friction in our lives. So when I get on that stair climber, that's friction. That's not easy for me to do. When I came home and I had just had a smoothie before I did this video, kind of tired of smoothies, but you know what? That builds a little bit of friction. Didn't love the smoothie that I drank, to be honest with you, but I drank it anyway. And I feel good about it now because I know what I'm doing for my life and for my future. So hopefully, if you're already registered for the 20th, I'm going to show you a couple other brain tips that you can use to really make this thing stick for the long term. If you haven't registered for the New Year Nutrition Workshop, make sure you do that right now. And I look forward to seeing you there. But remember, keep your word to yourself.